was different price procured by another ministry on 10th floor. That is no longer possible because we have standardized procurement. We know how much it costs, and every government entity pays the same for the same service or for the same commodities or other procurement products. Again, we are possibly saving up to 10% of all our procurement just by making e-procurement possible. I can tell you, we've gone through hell trying to implement this. The amount of requests we've been asked to excuse, or our issues are very urgent, or these issues are very sensitive, or these issues. But I want to thank John Buddy, he has said no. And we are forcing everybody to go through the mill. We've also done one thing, which Abdikadir will tell you how difficult it is to do. The issue of the government-owned enterprises law. This man, Abdikadir, came with it, I think 15 years ago, 13 years ago. But it was not possible to implement it. Because what did it say? It set the bar for the people who are appointed into boards of government agencies. It actually said that we need to advertise for those positions. And it was very difficult politically, to do it. Because you go into an election with many friends, partners, people who have supported you, people who have gone to the trenches with you, you win an election, and then they are there. You have to do something about them. And politically, you can't just wish them away because they will make demands and say, my friend, you wouldn't be there if it was not for us. Legitimately so. But what have you done now? We went to Parliament, and I want to say this about Parliament. I know there are many accusations that Parliament has gone through, that they are a rubber stamp for the executive. I don't know, they are not holding government to account. If there was a difficult bill to pass, and I must give credit to the 13th Parliament, they passed it. It is the government-owned enterprises law. Literally saying that those people passing the bill will not qualify to be appointed into parastatals when they are not sitting in Parliament. You know how, all these politics are very slippery place. You are in today, you can be out tomorrow. So, but I want to credit the 13th Parliament. They passed this law. I signed it into law. And today, many of my friends who I had appointed to boards in KenGen, in Kenya Airports Authority, in Kenya, I don't know where, Kenya Pipeline, and many other places, they have had to exit. Because now the law says those who participated in the last election cannot be board members. I have lost a few friends, but it comes with what it is. And why are we doing this? We want to, as much as possible, professionalize the running of government agencies and to depoliticize those boards. And again, I must say, that has worked in a very significant way. And then finally, we have, and I'm talking to accountability, we have also, number 5, we passed the conflict of interest bill into law. Again, very many members of parliament, members of Senate are very unhappy about this bill, because it literally says members of their families cannot participate in procurement or supply of goods and services to government. Again, it was to establish a distance between those who wield authority or power, whether they are sitting in parliament or they are sitting in the executive. I don't know whether we extended to the judiciary, I don't think we did, cannot participate because they have the propensity to influence those contracts this way or the other. Again, I can confidently tell the country we passed that law. And we are progressively, pushing corruption to the limits, even as we do the other things. You remember it was said here earlier, what about the ethics part? What other, apart from prosecution and all this, are there other things being done to deal with corruption? This is part of it. And we've worked with the criminal justice system to work on this. And then allow me to say two final things, which, speaking to what the other panelists have said, I agree entirely with the assessment of Mutava Mushimi on the subject of us having and what we are doing about poor people in our country. There is a message that Mutava Mushimi is saying, that those of us in positions of responsibility, myself and these great people and all of you seated here, which we cannot lose focus on. What are we doing about equity? How are we working to make sure that every citizen has meaning in Kenya? It's okay, for us to defend our salaries, for us to demonstrate, ask for more salaries, but what about the people who have no salary? What about the people who have no jobs? What about the poor people? This is something that we must pay attention to. There are some people, and I'm afraid to say this, that believe that there are citizens who are born to be poor. I think that is tragic. Because I hear arguments when I was pushing for the housing levy. And many people were telling me, how is it our business to make sure the people living in slums who have no decent dwelling places, how is it our business to assist them to get decent housing? It's a very, reasonable question. But looking at it from the other side, it's very callous. I mean, it shows how insensitive we are. That we have people who live in slums, that it doesn't concern you that there is a citizen who uses a flying toilet. It doesn't concern, you're not bothered. I mean, you really have to have a heart of stone, not to think about fellow citizens who have to pay to use a toilet. I mean, it is something that must concern us. And that is, I think, what my good brother there was saying. Or a citizen who decides to stay at home, they are sick, but they prefer to stay at home and die because they have no means of getting medical treatment. I think that is something that should concern us. And as a result, it takes me to the place where we've not done very well. We've done very well with what Abdikadir said, political rights. We are a robustly democratic country. We vote whoever we want. We can picket, we can demonstrate, we can do whatever, literally, whatever we want. That we have done very well, and we must credit ourselves for it. But there is the other side of it. what have we done to make sure that every child will go to school? Everybody has medical attention. We have decent housing. We have eliminated hunger. And we have done all the other constitutional commands. That is the place that we haven't done very well. And that is where we must focus going into the future. And that is why I am inviting all of us to have a national conversation, on the future of Kenya, a development charter for ourselves, so that we can enjoy our democratic rights, but also make sure that every citizen lives a dignified life. I think these are the two, sides of what we must achieve. And I say this with a lot of humility, that it's upon us, to do whatever it is that we can to make sure that we deliver on these two commitments. Let me say this. Our right to choose, our democratic right to choose, must be exercised in choosing what is best for everybody, or what is best for us. We should be able to make the best choices for Kenya. And again, let me paraphrase what Abdikadir said. If you choose a thief and expect that they will not steal from you, you are not being intelligent. If you choose somebody who is incompetent and expect them to deliver on anything, then you are not being serious. If you choose a person who has no vision, who has no plan, who has no agenda, and expect them to take your country anywhere, then you are not being serious. I think these are the choices that are on the table for us. And finally, I have spoken for too long. Why I like this meeting, and it is good that we are talking about our constitution in a forum like this, that intellectuals are present, is that Mutava Mushimi can say some of the things politicians cannot say. And Abdikadir can say some of the things politicians cannot say. And my good bishop can also say some of the things that are difficult for politicians to say. But they must be said. So this is a good forum for us to engage without defending ourselves that much. And finally, I think we need to do more. We have gaps in matters to do with our gender equity. I think we can do something about the 2/3 gender rule. And I think I can do something about making the, not just the 2/3 gender rule, but also the constitutionality of our cabinet. I think that is a space that even me, I have some homework to do on matters to do with gender and all that. If I was given an opportunity, I would try to mitigate my situation by saying, at least I have the first ever Attorney General who is a woman, whom I have appointed. And I can also try and mitigate my case by saying, by appointment, maybe the cabinet does not meet the 2/3 gender rule, but by operation, it does. Because I not only have the AG, but also the Secretary to Cabinet sitting in my cabinet. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So I want to say to all of us, this is a very good conversation, Madam Chief Justice, I think. And Abdullahi, my good friend from the Council of Governors and the Houses of Parliament, I want to say to all of us, thank you very much. I think this is time we have spent very well. And thank you, Eric, for provoking us. Asante sana.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a standing ovation to our panel, please. And a round of applause as I welcome Michael Gitonga to come and take over to the next space. I'd like us to do something. Every 27th of August going forward, always remember it's a day of victory for we, the people. And I'd like us to say this together. 16 years ago, we, the people, gave ourselves this constitution. And our head of state went ahead to say, our responsibility today is to fulfill its promise and build a democratic, prosperous, and transformed republic. So repeat after me. Our responsibility today is to fulfill its promise and build a democratic, prosperous, and transformed republic. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. I'll request that we remain standing, and as His Excellency takes back his seat and the panelists, kindly let's take back our seats. And I'll request just one thing as we do that, because we'd like to clear the stage. We have one more thing we'd like to do, the conferment of Katiba Awards, which is going to be a very short part of it. I want us to just keep standing, and let's play a song to Shangilie Kenya as we empty the stage for the next session. Please, let's give us a song. We've been sitting for 6 good hours.
Letu tukufu Kenya tunayoipenda, Kenya nchi tunayoipenda, tunajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka, Kenya nchi yenye baraka, tumekomboa Kenya taifa letu tukufu, tumebadili mwendo. Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kutenda haki kwa watu wote, mtu mwenye kutenda haki. Na ukipenda Kenya ujitengane na mambo yenye kuvunja amani. Hatutaki Kenya wenye nchi, Kenya kipenzi chetu.
Your Excellency, we only have one more item on our program, and that is the conferment of the Katiba Awards. So with your permission, allow me to invite the Head of Public Service to lead us through a brief state of investiture ceremony for conferment of Katiba Awards. Welcome, sir. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi tafadhali.
Thank you. Thank you. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this part of the Katiba Day commemoration is convened pursuant to Article 132(4)(c) of the Constitution and the Kenya Heroes Act 2014 to recognize 3 eminent Kenyans whose service has left an enduring mark upon our nation's constitutional journey. On this 16th anniversary of the promulgation of the Constitution, the Republic pays tribute to those who devoted their intellect, courage, and conviction to its making and have remained steadfast custodians of its promise. In recognition of that distinguished service, their names shall be entered into the roll of national heroes under the category of statesmanship, and each accorded the title Shujaa wa Katiba. This recognition carries forward a tradition inaugurated at the promulgation of the Constitution in 2010, when a special Constitution promulgation commemorative award was conferred for distinguished leadership in steering the Constitution through Parliament and towards promulgation. Your Excellency, today's honorees join the Honorable Abdikadir Mohammed, the first and until today only recipient of that special constitutional recognition. Together, their service is firmly inscribed in the constitutional history of our republic, and a grateful nation now accords them their rightful place among its heroes. May it please Your Excellency to take your position in the arena for 1 minute, Your Excellency. And in the name and on behalf of the people of Kenya, formally recognize the following Masuja wa Katiba. The first is Professor Yash Pal Gai.
With uncommon wisdom and unwavering dedication, Professor Yashpal Gai led Kenya's constitutional dawn. As chair of the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission, he forged a people-driven charter that enshrined in the powerful Bill of Rights, Devolution, and Rule of Law. Through the Katiba Institute, which he founded with Dr. Jill Cottrell Gai, he has tirelessly defended these democratic pillars, often without fee. A scholar of global renown, his counsel has shaped constitution across more than 20 nations. The award will be received on his behalf by the President of the Law Society of Kenya. So let's put our hands together as they come to receive it on behalf of the statesman, mentor, and guardian of the Kenya Katiba, Professor Yashpal Gai, who embodied the highest ideals of public service, deserving of being entered into the role of our national honors as a Shujaa wa Katiba. Thank you.
Thank you. The second person to receive this award is the Honorable Dr. Willie Mutunga, Senior Counsel.
With fearless principle and lifelong commitment to justice, Dr. Willie Mutunga stood at the vanguard of Kenya's democratic transformation. As for the first indigenous Kenyan to teach constitutional law, he nurtured generations of legal minds. He gave voice to the voiceless through the Kenyan Human Rights Commission and Kituo cha Sheria. As the president of the Law Society of Kenya, he became a steadfast champion of the multi-party democracy. As the inaugural Chief Justice under the new constitution, he reformed the judiciary with integrity by professionalizing its ranks, combating corruption, and issuing the Mutunga rules that anchored the constitution. A round of applause for Honorable Dr. Willie Mutunga. Perhaps we'll proceed to the next one, maybe. A member of the judiciary, perhaps, to receive it on his behalf. Honorable Chief Justice Martha Koome to receive it on his behalf. A round of applause, please.
The third and the final Shujaa wa Katiba is Professor Wanjiku Kabira.
With intellectual rigor and unshakable commitment to women's empowerment, Professor Wanjiku Kibira helped give Kenya its transformative constitution. As vice chair of the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission, she led nationwide civic education that brought the Katiba to the people. She championed women's economic rights, enshrining it in Article 43 of the Promise Opportunity of Dignity. As a professor and founder of the University of Nairobi's African Women Studies Center, she cultivated generations of women's leaders and now shapes the nation. Scholar, advocate, and architect of equality, Professor Wanjiku Kibira stands as a beacon of justice and progress. For her immense contribution, she is entered into the role of national heroes of Shujaa wa Katiba.
Your Excellency, sir, you may now resume your seat. Thank you.
We are now getting closer to the end of our session this afternoon. well, which started literally 6 hours ago. So 6 hours of sitting through this. You need to give yourselves a hand. Also as Mashujaa wa Katiba for that protection of the Katiba. Your Excellency, sir, it is now time for us to retreat of the instruments of state. So I'll request that we be upstanding as we retreat the instruments of state. I invite the band to give us the song as we now withdraw the instruments of power that are here before us.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Nitaomba kwa heshima mwanasheria mkuu aweze kuondoa nakala ya katiba mahali ambapo iliweza kuwekwa ili wanajeshi wetu waweze kuendelea na shughuli za kuondoa vyombo hivi vya mamlaka tunapokamilisha hafla hii siku ya leo. Za kujiuliza ni kwa nini katiba ya Kenya inaondolewa na mwanasheria mkuu. Kenya ni nchi ambayo inatawala ama utawala wake ni wa kiraia. Ndiposa vyombo vyote vya mamlaka ambavyo vimesalia vinaletwa na kuondolewa na majeshi ya Kenya. Chini yake Regimental Sergeant Major Warrant Officer 1 Kiprono, wanajeshi hawa wakiweza kuchukua nafasi zao kuondoa vyombo hivi vya mamlaka. Kiweza kutazama Mheshimiwa Rais, hapa awali ni kwamba muhuri huu wa umma ni muhuri mzito ambapo utaweza kurejeshwa, utaweza kufunika kisha vyombo vingine vya mamlaka viweze kuondolewa. Asante bendi yetu, asante bendi. Mheshimiwa Rais, nitaomba kwa heshima tubaki tukiwa tumesimama kwa wimbo wa taifa, wimbo wa Jumuiya ya Afrika Mashariki, kisha baada ya hapo atatupa itifaki ya kufumukana sehemu hii.